Hello everybody! Welcome back to another video. My name is Abe Kim, as you all know. Today is a very interesting day. It's not a vlog. Sorry, I know that a lot of you guys wanted a vlog, but this is not a time for vlogging. Today's video is gonna be pretty interesting, I guess a little bit controversial and very different from what I usually am up to, which is nothing. But today I have with me a guest who is willing to talk about his experience being part of this Korean cult, how he got into it, how he got out of it. He refuses to be part of like the video, as in like I'm not gonna be showing his face. His voice is gonna be changed and he's gonna be, doing his own thing. I will be behind the camera asking questions and he is now going to be talking about his experience. We are obviously not going to be mentioning certain vocabulary words because I've noticed that some videos that do mention the name of this cult, anything that has to do with like the whole situation, is getting like flagged by that cult. So no names, no name dropping. We're gonna keep it safe, we're gonna keep it clean. We're gonna be calling this cult the S cult. So without further ado, here is this guest who has an older sister who also likes Supreme and very good looking. You ready?
No man, you're good looking. Don't you also have this sweater?
So let's get straight into it. How did you get into this S cult?
I wasn't really a member per se, but I guess I was just like one of their targets or their victims.
Wait, so like, how did they lure you in?
I guess a little bit of a background story is I went to a Christian college at that time as a freshman, and a lot of my classmates and people around me were like going to churches, those like chapel hours and stuff, and I kind of grew up in a Christian household. Two of my close home friends at that time invited me to come out. I think at that time I was the most vulnerable because that time I didn't really know much about Christianity or like religion in general.
So when did you think it was weird?
I just thought it was a little strange that they say forget everything you knew up to this point. Everything that like Christians know about. For instance, books by like C.S. Lewis, John Piper, Timothy Keller. I kind of knew about those people, but they just straight up told me to disregard them, forget everything I know. And this was a weird thing. They just kind of didn't let me talk about this with anyone. They told me to keep it to myself, and I even asked one of them, hey, I think one of my friends in college during that time was like seeking also. I was like, yo, can we invite this person? But they somehow kind of rejected that idea. So basically they were pretty secretive from the start. They basically believe that this Messiah figure or Jesus from the Bible is like already here.
So you're telling me these people basically believe in Korea Jesus?
Yeah, they basically believe in a Korean Jesus.
Stop f***ing with Korean Jesus. He ain't got time for your problems. He busy with Korean shit.
So they believe that Jesus is already here, but they don't really start with that approach. They kind of just dissect the Bible into thinking that they know a lot, and you kind of can't question these people because you already told them that you don't really know so much about religion and Christianity and stuff. So everything they say goes, and like they even show you their notebooks that they use to study, and there's like a lot of numbers, a lot of like drawings, and it just seemed like they kind of knew what they were talking about, but yeah, nah, I'm not about that.
Korean Jesus.
How far in do you think you got?
So luckily I wasn't really into it, but from what I know, and after doing some like research and like talking to other people, I believe that there are like hierarchies to this cult. And if you were to put like a number on it, I would probably, like out of 10 being like Korean Jesus level is like a 10, I would probably be like a 1 because I wasn't like super active. I only went to about 3 or 4-ish meetings. Yeah, so I'd probably say I was a beginner, entry level, barely meeting the prerequisites.
How did you get out of it?
Luckily, I wasn't kind of into it, and honestly speaking, I'm not stupid. So when I was a freshman in college, I was like trying to figure out my spirituality and stuff. So I did a lot of like reading, and I was really interested in so many things. But something I noticed about a lot of religions is that people want you to be a part of that religion. But this one was just super secretive. But even with like Christianity, Jesus wanted everyone to follow him. But nah, man, this one was super secretive. They were just... So honestly speaking, I was just reading the Bible on my own after I came home from their quote-unquote studies and meetings. And then I realized what they were saying was straight up false. For example, right? You take the song Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. There's no other meaning to that song except that a star is twinkling and it's bright, right? These people though, they would be like twinkle twinkle little star. Yo, twinkle? Like Twinkies, man. So this person is like diabetic and there's like sugar into this, right? But it's 2 times. So this person or this star is telling a lot of people to stop eating sugar and it's gonna get you fat. You don't want these sugars and these like bad processed things like a Twinkie. So the moral of the story is don't eat Twinkies. Even let me take it like a step further. You know like the song Rack City? Yo, Rack City. People that listen to like hip hop and rap, they know that they're talking about Vegas or someplace really ratchet, but they would probably be like, yo, racks on racks city. Think about a rack. Rack in certain terms could be like a clothes rack, but there's 2 racks. So racking up clothes 2 times, buy your clothes every day, and a city. What is a city? Think about the city. You need a city to go to a city. So make sure you rack up on clothes when you go into a city while you are being seated. Some random things like that, man. They interpret the Bible that way, so like, whoa, how are you gonna take them seriously? They were very into like numbers, not the Bible book numbers, but chapter 1, chapter 2. They did their own math and they added things up. And they're like, oh, if you take this into this, then it equals this. Everybody knows numbers. The chapters and verses were added years later, you know? So what are you guys even talking about, you know? And also, here's a trigger point. You know how they said I couldn't talk to anyone about it? Yo, no, I definitely talked to a lot of people.
So who did you talk to?
So I phoned a friend. No. To be more specific, I phoned a family member, a sister. She was like, yo, what are you believing in? Like, this is some weird nonsense, blah, blah, blah. It's not just her. I talked to a lot of my close friends. I talked to a lot of people I respected a lot in my life during that time. And they confirmed it. They were like, yo, I don't think this is right. I think this is a cult, to be more specific, an S-cult. And some of the people that I was also talking to, like back home, they were like, you too? These people approached me too about the situation, so I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not the only one. So that really confirmed it more, that these people are really targeting people that don't know as much.
So was it easy to walk out of?
Oh hell no, it was hard. It was kind of crazy how it all went down, because these 2 friends I was close to, the ones that were like taking me to like certain meetings, or like they were the ones that were doing one-on-ones with me. There was 2 of them in my school, but then they were part of a 4-group member that infiltrated a church that I was kind of attending at that time. So they basically were kind of kicked out of that church. They got outed by a couple people, and then they blamed me for that. These 2 close friends of mine. This is the crazy thing. They straight up cornered me in my school. My school has this very specific place where everyone comes to eat, and there's always a lot of people there. And they told me to come there. And they started yelling at me. People were staring at me, and they straight up like threatened me at one point. And that confirmed it even more, that I just do not want to be a part of this. They were saying that we're not part of this S-cult, but everything that they were teaching me up to this point led to Korean Jesus. It was tough, but I knew at that moment, I don't want to be a part of a religion that literally corners people and makes them feel alone and scared. It was embarrassing. But at the end of the day, I think I had really good friends that really got me out of it. And man, come on, like, you don't want to believe in some Korean Jesus, do you?
And Korean Jesus. Come on. Korean Jesus is right there. That's Vietnamese Jesus.
So speaking of Korean Jesus, you know, I lived in Korea for a couple years. That was when I met you. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, so the days I lived in Korea for a couple years, there were moments when I was just waiting for my friends at like a train theater station, or I was just like walking the streets, and I guess apparently I look sad when I'm waiting for people, or when I'm walking. These people, every time I look sad, they would be like, you look like you have a blessed face, and they just start love bombing you, right? And the more that you talk a little bit with them, man, you just realize that they are literally part of this S cult as well. They're using the same tactics that my friends back then used on me, and it's unfortunate, you know? This is a tactic called love bombing. When you're vulnerable and when you're sad, they really use that against you. But you know, that what pisses me off is like, yo, I don't look that sad when I'm walking. Who the heck looks happy when they're walking? Nobody enjoys walking. This literally happened one time. I was waiting for a friend for 2 freaking hours at Anguk station. That was whack of her to make me wait 2 hours. But anyways, the point is, that's when they get you, man. These things happen all over Korea in big, busy streets like Anguk. Oh my gosh, this happened in Hongdae with me. Gangnam happened like 3 times. Myeongdong was the freshest one because like 2 people cornered me. The more you talk to these people, you're like, wow, damn, like nah, I'm good, bro.
Wait, like for real? My sister and I like watch these videos and they lure you in. Is that like really how it happens? I'll post a link on this video on the cards so you guys can like watch these videos.
Yeah, man, I watch these videos and it triggers me, you know, like this happened, especially with people that I was like close with, you know? Anyways, that reminds me of like this really shady situation. This one time I was on a really nice date with this girl in a cafe. Shout out to this girl because she had to experience this with me, but we were just talking, having a good time and all. But then on the corner of my eye, next to me, these 3 girls were just sitting, and one of them clearly lured the 2 girls in to have like a little study session, to have like an interview. And I was listening to them, and this like leader who was like sitting across these 2 friends, clearly indoctrinating them on these S cult things that I was taught to forget everything, completely destroyed the book of Revelation in a very, very twisted way. So during my date, I kind of approached them to the teacher. I was like, invite me as well to like these Bible studies. I'm like interested, I'm new to this country, whatever. And this girl, she was just so shady about it. She was like, oh no, I don't really feel comfortable. You know, there are a lot of other churches out there. And I was like, yo, really? I thought religions and like churches were like to invite people, you know? She was really reluctant to give me like an address to their church. I was very adamant on finding this place. So this person was like, oh, you know, just neighbor search a very generic church name, like Light Church. I looked it up and there was like hundreds of churches with that name. So obviously this person just didn't want me to go. But I just wanted to help the 2 girls out. I kind of wanted to give them like a message that this is shady, you know? So before I left, I was like, yo, this is really shady that you're not telling me about these things that could save me. So I just left it at that.
So any advice to people that are kind of in this cult right now, or anything you want to end with?
Bro, dude, just stay home, man. In these times like this, stay home. Don't be patient 31 from Korea, man. To get out of this S cult, just read the Bible. Try to listen to many perspectives as you can. You know, there are a lot of weird people out there that are preaching weird things, but like the more you listen, you kind of just know. And if they are like literally telling you to distance yourself, keep everything like a secret, you know that's a problem.
Anything else you want to add?
Nah, I'm good. This cult was just like all over the Korean news, so I got triggered. So thanks for reaching me out. Social distance yourself. How do you end your videos?